Hello, my name is Joyce Harper and I'm Professor at the Institute for Women's Health at University College London, and I'm Director of Education in the Institute and also Programme Director of the MRes in Reproductive Science and Women's Health. And it's a real pleasure to give you this short video which is going to talk about the MSc and the MRes in Reproductive Science and Women's Health. So first, welcome to UCL. We are situated in UCL School of Life and Medical Sciences, which is abbreviated to SLIMS, and we're actually in the Faculty of Population Health Sciences. And here you see all of the institutes in the faculty, and here you'll see the Elizabeth Garrett Anderson Institute for Women's Health, and that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. So welcome to the Institute for Women's Health. You'll find our webpage here. If you haven't found it before, please have a look. It's got about the Institute, studying at the Institute, organogram, research groups, etc. And I'll go through a little bit of this briefly in this presentation. We also celebrated our 15-year anniversary in 2019, and on our website you'll find a quite comprehensive document celebrating our 15 years. So these are the 4 research departments in the Institute. We've got reproductive health, maternal and fetal medicine, women's cancer, and neonatology. And here you can see a little bit about each of these institutes and departments and what they deal with. So again, there's much more information about this and information about all the research groups on the Institute for Women's Health webpage. Now, I have done another video which goes into a deeper overview of learning at the Institute for Women's Health in a more holistic way, looking at all of the programs that we offer. This is on the Institute for Women's Health YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen this video yet, then please have a look. It's just a 10-minute video going through things a bit more overall. In that video, I do just briefly talk about the 4 courses that we do at master's level. We do an MSc in Women's Health, an MSc in Prenatal Genetics, one in Reproductive Science, and obviously the MRes in Reproductive Science. So if you'd like to know more about these other MScs, there are individual talks that have been recorded by the program directors. And as I said, I go through this in a bit more detail in the video I showed you on the previous slide. We also have an undergraduate 1-year course for our medical students. They can integrate a BSc within their medical training, and we offer an IBSc in Women's Health, which has modules on reproductive health, maternal, fetal and neonatal health, women's cancer, and a project. And of course, in our institute, we have a very active postgraduate research degree program. So these are how the MSc programs work. The prenatal genetics and reproductive science have 8 modules. All of our MScs actually have 8 modules, so does women's health. Our prenatal genetics and reproductive science are very linked. They don't have any optional modules, so all the modules are set. They have 4 modules in common: basic genetics, fertility and infertility, which has recently got this new name. It was previously called gametogenesis, pre-implantation development and assisted reproductive technology. Quite a long title. So if you do see that on some websites, etc., that has now been renamed for your year: fertility and infertility science and society. Also in common is a module on prenatal diagnosis and one on pre-implantation genetic diagnosis and developing technology. So those 4 modules are common to prenatal and reproductive science, and then prenatal do more genetics and reproductive science do more reproductive science. So the next compulsory modules are anatomy, pregnancy, reproductive health and cancers. The Women's Health MSc is a new MSc. It's very interesting in that it's more multidisciplinary and goes much more into the social side of women's health. So they have core modules on female anatomy, understanding research, legal and ethical, and concepts and controversies. And then they pick their next 4 modules. So they have optional modules. So anyone can apply for any of these courses. So if this is something you want to look at, please visit the Women's Health and the Prenatal Genetics videos. So the MRes program for reproductive science has 4 modules and it has a longer project. So the other MSCs are all 8 modules and a project. MRes is 4 modules with a longer project. So just want to go a little bit more into the reproductive science, MSc and MRes. So these are the modules, as I said, for reproductive science. You do basic genetics, and I won't go through each of these. You can see the topics that are covered here. Fertility and infertility, female anatomy, pregnancy and childbirth, prenatal diagnosis and screening, reproductive health, reproductive cancers, and PGT and developing technology. So you can look at those in more detail if you want to find out anything else about them. For the MRes program, there's a greater emphasis on research skill experience. So you can pick any of your 4 modules from this list. So the majority of these are in our Institute for Women's Health, but some of them are in other institutes. So you can pick your 4 modules and then you will do your research project. For all of our students, we have a very well-established program. So the first 2 weeks when you arrive are all about introduction and skills. So you will all be together during that time. You will also meet your program directors, but we cover getting to know UCL, getting to know each other. We talk about networking, your assessments, etc. The second week is Skills Week. The real emphasis on this is about your project. So we're going to tell you about different types of research, different types of research projects, and really help you think about what you want to do for your project. And we're going to go through some of the projects that are already being offered by different academics. So depending whether you're doing the MRes with your 4 modules or your MSc with 8 modules, all the modules in the Institute for Women's Health are 3 weeks long. We call them short, fat modules. They're 3 weeks. You just cover that topic and then you move on to your next one. But for the MRes, you can take some modules in other departments and they have a different structure. All of our modules, we cover also ethics and global health. We feel this is really important for everything that we talk about. All of our modules in the Institute are 15 credits each, and they're made up of lectures, tutorials, formative assessments, and also some online learning. Depending on the module, most of the modules only have 1 assessment. Some of them have 2. They are given at certain times. They can be exams, essays, case reports, paper reviews. We want to teach you lots of different skills while you're with us. So we will cover lots of different types of assessments, but we'll give you more information about this when you come to the course, and you can look at this information online as well. So for your project, the MRes is run throughout the whole year. So depending when you're doing your modules, obviously you'll do less on your project, but it's really important for you to start those discussions about your project as soon as possible. You might not choose any modules at the beginning of term 1, so we don't want you to lose valuable time. And actually, I will get discussing those project ideas with you even before you come. The MSCs run officially full-time from June to September. But again, we really want everyone to have decided and confirmed their project by December. And in December, we run for everybody some skills workshops. So depending what sort of project you're doing, you might do some more skills on qualitative research or surveys or lab methods, etc. at that time. And then we offer further training in term 2 and 3. So students often start preparing for their projects as soon as it's confirmed. In term 2, you'll write a summary of your project, what you're trying to do, your introduction, your aims, and you will always also present an oral presentation about your project. So that's for all students in term 2. So you're really ready to take your project as soon as possible. And then we have a very comprehensive careers program that we run throughout the year. We do one on PhDs about applying for medicine, clinical careers, embryology, genetics, etc. So we often have our alumni come in and talk to our students about what they've done in their career journey and how they've moved on. So it's a really exciting, great careers program that we run. We do everything on Moodle. Some of you may have used Moodle before. We have the timetables, the methods of assessments, lots of other things, and you submit any work through Moodle as well, and we give you feedback. We're really think that feedback is really important for you. We give you feedback about your essays before you do your next one, how you can improve, how you can get a better grade, etc. So a little bit more about the projects. This is some examples of last year's MSc projects. So we had a project on egg freezing attitudes in China, one on endometriosis, women's experience of miscarriage in the Libyan community, one on fibroids, one on cervical gene delivery of antimicrobial peptides, and one on biomarkers of predicting outcome of pregnancies affected by placental insufficiency restriction. These are just a few of the many projects that we offered. We will give you a list of the new projects, but also the list of projects that people did in previous years when you arrive, to give you some thoughts and ideas about where you want to go. So we're really keen to start the project discussion for the MSc and the MRes on day one or before. It's really important to you. This is a really important part of your time with us at UCL. These are some examples of the MRes projects that were done last year: complementary therapies in assisted reproductive technologies, cervico-vaginal mucosal immunity and how it protects against placental infection and spontaneous preterm birth, testicular cryopreservation, and characterization of a mammalian expressed recombinant fragment of human SPD. So they might not make sense to you now, but they will when you arrive. So as I said, whether it's an MRes or MSc project, discussions start as soon as possible. This is such an important part of your project, and we really hope that some of these even get published. I've been really lucky that so many of my projects in the last few years have been published. Now, the MSc dissertation is 10,000 words. The MRes dissertation is 20,000 words. And you all give 2 oral presentations on your project as well. And the list of projects you get is open to everybody. So we don't have particular projects earmarked for MSc or MRes students. Even the IBSc students have the same list. So all of the projects can be done by any student. It just works really well. We've got a really efficient system up and running now. So support for students within UCL and our institute. So I am Director of Education. We also have a departmental graduate tutor. All of the MSCs have a program director. When you arrive, all of you will be given a personal tutor who you'll meet regularly, and they will have a very much pastoral role in supporting you and discuss your grades, how you're getting on, your project, your CV, your career. You also obviously have your program project supervisor who you'll meet regularly. I'm meeting mine at the moment once a week. And then we have the administrators. We also run a system that works so well. We run a system of peer groups. So when you arrive, you'll be put in peer groups, which are with other people on your particular program, and you will work together throughout the year. They will be your team. So when you do certain tasks in certain modules, you'll work in your peer groups. You'll do group presentations with your peer groups. Your peer group can read through your essays before you submit them, give you peer support, etc., etc. It works really, really well. We also have a lot of support from UCL Wellbeing and the UCL Union. So we really try to look after you while you're with us at UCL. So about our students, on all of our MSCs, we have basic scientists, biomedical sciences and genetics. On the Women's Health MSc, we also have some students with more of a background in social science. We also have doctors and midwives. So we really have a great mix of people, and that's one of the very rich things about doing our programs. You're going to mix with people from all different backgrounds, all different countries, and it's just such a wonderful time and very rich experience to be one of our students. Now, obviously, your career is very important to us. We really feel that you're going to go on to fabulous careers and often be leaders in the field. And I love it that we started the first MSc in 1996, and I'm very good friends with many of our alumni, and they've gone on to really outstanding careers. So some of our students go on to the embryology science training program to become clinical embryologists. Some go on to genomics or genomic counselling. Some return to clinical work. Many students go on to do a PhD. Some work in industry. Some go on to do medicine, and there's many other careers. And we'll tell you all about that when you arrive. So this is some of our alumni. We have a graduation every year, obviously, and we have a graduation party, and our students come back and we meet them at conferences, and we really are here to keep in contact with you. You're one of the club once you've been studying with us, and we have a Facebook alumni page that we chat to our students a lot on. So it's really great to keep in contact with you once you've left us. So if you want to apply for the courses, either of the courses, you can do these 1 year full-time, 2 years part-time, or flexible up to 5 years. The applications are now open. The official closing date is the 30th of July, but we often get full, especially in the MSc. So please, can you apply as soon as possible? Don't leave it too late, because we might be full. For the tuition fees, obviously with Brexit, things have got a bit complicated. So please check the UCL website and the Institute website for an update on fees. The entry requirements: you need to have an upper second-class bachelor's degree or in a relevant science-based discipline or equivalent, or a medical qualification from a UK university, or a medical qualification or science degree from overseas universities of an equivalent standard. So we have many medics and undergrads from overseas who come to take our course, and you need English language of a good level. So once you accept your place before the start of term, we will give you access to our welcome Moodle page, which has a lot of information on. We will have online meetings with the program director, often before you start. And once you start, you will have regular meetings with the program director. You can have online meetings with your peers. We really want people to get to know each other. We will set up a Facebook group for each program for anyone that's got an offer. You'll only get to the welcome Moodle page once you've accepted the offer, but those with an offer can get access to the Facebook page so they can talk to each other. We will give you some preparation for the modules, and if you've got any questions at all, this is our email for our admin team, or you can also contact the program director. So to apply, please visit the MRes or the MSc web pages, contact the Institute admin, and you can get access to this on our Institute for Women's Health website. And just to say, we do a lot on social media. Please feel free to follow us at any time. I do a lot on Twitter and Instagram. Susie Buckley leads the MSc in Women's Health, and Helen O'Neill has been running the MSc in Reproductive Science, but she's going on secondment, so we will have a new person in place running this when you arrive. Now, we have the Institute YouTube channel as well. You will find all of the videos about the other programs there, and the video that I've done about in wider introduction to the education at the Institute for Women's Health. We have a Facebook page, please like it. And as I said, once you have your offer in the summer of this year, we will open Facebook pages for each of the programs. So if you want to find out any more about the Institute or UCL, please follow us on social media. My handle on Twitter and Instagram is @Prof Joyce Harper. Lots of other information there. And obviously in the time of COVID, we have complications. This has now affected 2 of our years of our MSc programs, as it's affecting everybody globally. But there will be up-to-date questions there. I'm really being optimistic and hoping that by September, we will be in a totally different place with the pandemic. And I'm really hoping that we will be resuming our more normal education at that time. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed that video. We have got some open days. Please visit the UCL Institute pages to find out about those, where you can meet me and ask me any more questions. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.